Welcome to the channel. My name is Matthias. Today we're going to talk about Captain America issues 334 and 335. So what happens in this particular arc is that John Walker has just been named Captain America. It's really interesting to see that prior to this story, John Walker really gave Captain America a hard time, basically telling him when he was a super patriot and he had a couple of confrontations with Cap, that he was all washed up and a relic of the past. And now we get to see that John Walker really admired Cap's work, and he realizes that these are pretty big boots to fill. He goes into his first training session and things just go terribly. He has a real hard time working with the shield. And the drill instructor really gave John Walker a hard time because he used lethal force throughout the whole session. He tells him, you pretty much killed all the bad guys and all the innocent people that were part of this drill. Also, another thing that John Walker and Lamar Haskins, who is Battlestar, well, actually at this moment, he's still Bucky. They're sharing the same base as Freedom Force, and this group of mutants are giving them a real hard time. In a previous story, we actually got to see him be openly xenophobic, and in this one, he uses a slur against the members of Freedom Force. I do understand that they were giving him a hard time, but it's like an interesting aspect to this character. So we get a second training session where we have John Walker and Lamar, and now they're dealing with the guardsmen. And the really interesting thing here is to see John Walker is having a real hard time with these drills, but Bucky, Lamar, he's not. And he doesn't even have a shield. Like, he really wants a shield. He's like, I'm not really down with having to duck for cover. So what happens next in the story, and what's fascinating about John Walker's lore, is that he had this manager that would obviously control his career as a superhero. He really reminds me of those old school wrestling managers from the WWF, like Jimmy Hart or Bobby the Brain Heenan. And John Walker tells him, look, you're not going to be able to work in this government program, and I sort of have to cut ties with you. And his manager takes this very poorly and sort of tries to extort him, tells him, look, we can cut ties, but you're going to have to pay me because I know a lot of dirt about you. And also the two other Buckies, because there used to be 3 Buckies during the Super Patriot era, also take this very poorly. That Lamar got the job and they did not. So what happens is, as the story progresses, the government realizes that John Walker, even though he's really powerful, he needs more training. They actually call in Taskmaster to show him the ropes because he knows all of Steve Rogers' old school fighting techniques, especially how to work with a shield. And I just love seeing Taskmaster pop up in this story this way. Because the thing is that he is in government custody. He's actually in prison, but he's totally down with teaching John Walker this. Obviously, they're going to pay him. So what happens at the back end of this issue, that a lot goes down, is that to make sure that his old manager doesn't get him into any trouble, John and Lamar steal 2 guardsmen armors, and they go out and straight up attack his manager and the other 2 Buckies. For the life of me, I can't remember the name of the manager. Actually, they just want to rough them up and send them a message that way, but things sort of go wrong. One of the Buckies was almost killed. But what I really liked about this issue is that it shows off that John Walker has his insecurities. He also seems to be very impulsive. He does not think things through, and he's sort of a blockhead, but his heart is in the right place. This we'll see as he grows as a character. Now, in the second issue, it's going to set up something really important for John Walker, and it's his confrontation with the Watchdogs. Now, these guys are like this grassroots, ultra-conservative terrorist group. Like, they're going to evolve into this terrorist group. And I have to say, like, it's fascinating, people bitching about politics and comic books in the 2010s during Comicsgate. Obviously never read Captain America, especially from the 80s. Also the 70s, like the late 70s, Captain America has always been political. That aside, the Watchdogs want to defend the morality of America. They have major issues against pornography, abortion. Those are like the two most extreme, but like any conservative talking point, it's mentioned in this issue. And the story actually starts first, well, John Walker gets sworn in as Captain America. But after that, we see that the Watchdogs attack a porn shop. And they put a bomb in it. And they're confronted by the owner. And he tells the guys, look, I put my life savings into this place. Like, what right do you guys have blowing up my shop? They straight up murk the guy. Like, they're really violent and aggressive. So what happens is John Walker is commissioned to take down the Watchdogs. And what he does, he hatches up this plan to infiltrate the group. They're going to simulate a casting for nude models in John Walker's hometown. It seems like the Watchdogs operate out of that place. Lamar is going to be the guy that does the casting because also it seems that the Watchdogs are white supremacists. They fake a confrontation between Lamar and John Walker where he's trying to shut down this casting. And what happens with the Watchdogs, they pay for John Walker's bail, and he doesn't realize that they also pay for the bail of Lamar. So they tell John Walker, look, we want you to join this group. John is elated because this is what he wanted to do. He wanted to infiltrate them. And what happens is we get to the night of his initiation, and what they're going to do is they're going to hang Lamar. The whole scene is very hardcore, and I have to say, like, they're going to hang a black dude. They have this bonfire. The imagery is like very striking, and you know what they're referencing. And obviously what happens is John slips away, puts on his Captain America suit, beats the crap out of the Watchdogs. But the thing is that even though our hero came out on top, the Watchdogs will have an axe to grind against John Walker. And way further down the line, they're going to take vengeance. And it's going to be a very violent and disturbing issue when that happens. So we're going to leave this video here. I hope you guys liked it. See you guys next time. Bye.